I mean, talk about foot and mouth disease. That, first of all, the game's Sunday. And then he said that on Friday he'd be cleared. Friday he was actually, as you know, everybody, declared out. Antonio Brown out for the Sunday game against the Denver Broncos. Maurice Jones-Drew, good to see you, sir. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you, Rich?
I mean, really? Can you believe this?
It was a setup.
What's the setup? By Antonio Brown set him up?
I just thought that...
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Well, no, not that whole situation, but when you say things like that, majority of the time it happens the way you don't want it to go, right? So you think he's like, oh, he's going to be cleared.
How does he not know that by now?
Is it by chance that Antonio Brown was like declared out today on Friday after Pac-Man said that?
There's no way the Steelers. You think the Steelers did that just so we can get it out there because they knew he wasn't going to make it. Let's get it out there on a day that there are TV and radio shows that can churn it up and just spit it back in Pac-Man's face. You really think there was a? Do teams really work that way?
I wouldn't put it past them. Huh. You know, I wouldn't put it past them. I think it's all in. You know, obviously when first of all, I don't think that hit was dirt. I don't think it was dirt. I think it was illegal. But that hit's always been known. Guys going across the middle, you have the chance of going. Guys are going to try to hit you. That's just part of the game.
But he didn't have to hit him, Maurice.
He didn't have to, but I mean, I thought people want him to stop after 2 steps. Now he could have tried to get out of the way, and I thought he let off a lot because he could have put his helmet in his chest.
Okay.
And it really hurt him pretty bad. But he let off and hit him with his shoulder. But when you play football for so long, like that's ingrained in you when guys go across the middle to get hit. So when we would run angle routes, I'd come across, and I promise you, every linebacker or D lineman that was dropping would try to take a shot on me. Just because you come across the middle, they have to protect the integrity of the defense. So I don't think it was a dirty hit. It was an illegal hit, obviously. But anytime there's concussion issues, you want to be particular on how you handle those type of things. Obviously, Pac-Man was really comfortable there with Brandon Marshall, and he kept it as honest as he thought he should.
So where's the apology? I mean, he's been ruled out for an hour and a half. How's this going to work, Maurice? What do you think? How's this going to work with Pac?
It's either going to be on Instagram or Snapchat.
So he's going to handle it through social media.
I think
he will not make an appearance somewhere. He will not.
I don't think he's welcome. Oh, I mean, he could. You want me to see like Pac-Man? You know.
No. I mean, he went on Dan's show, and I'm sure Dan was like saying, "Hey, you
trying to get him back."
Well. Absolutely. If he went on Dan's show and accused him of faking and winking and then doubled down on Showtime, I'm sure he wanted it back there. So you think we should just keep an eye on his social media accounts?
Definitely.
It's got to come, right? He can't not apologize now, right?
Yeah, you can't. You can't. Once you say it, you have to go through with it. Otherwise, then people are going to start to question your integrity. So I think he'll be fine. Okay. I think he'll do one. Maurice
Jones-Drew joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you make of this matchup now that Antonio Brown's out for the Steelers in Denver?
I still feel like someone's going to have to score. Peyton can't throw the ball accurately over 15 yards. We saw that in the last game. I thought the reason Gary Kubiak really made Peyton the starter is so they could run the ball more.
Sure.
Because a lot of teams are going to play cover 2 against Peyton. It's a lighter box. You can run it. But I think Pittsburgh's going to come in a loaded box with a cover 3 look and force Peyton to throw the ball down the field. And so I think if they can't score, it's going to be a defensive game. And special teams-wise, I still have Pittsburgh still winning, to be honest with you.
You still have the Steelers minus Antonio Brown, minus Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams, and a banged-up Big Ben going into Denver, well-rested, and beating the Broncos. Maurice Jones-Drew, you still think that Pittsburgh advances?
I still think that their defense is playing with a different intensity, a different attitude than we've seen in the past, and they're going to hit Peyton. They get pressure up the middle. Peyton doesn't like that. And so if you could stop the run early and then get to Peyton, bring Brock in, because we know Kubiak is going to switch them back and forth probably every quarter.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're going to do it, it's no better time than doing a divisional round if you're going to do it. And I think if Peyton doesn't start fast, they'll bring Brock in, and that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers want, and they'll get a pick 6, and they'll win the game 9-7.
No kidding. That is a prediction I don't believe I will hear after you, and I haven't heard it before you either, Maurice Jones-Drew. I like that. That's next-level stuff you're going right here.
I work with Ike Taylor, who obviously a big Pittsburgh guy.
Right.
And he's really confident in it. And we've sat down and we talked, and I mean, he's kind of convinced me that Pittsburgh has a different mentality than a lot of teams. And we saw that in that Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game, the way Ryan Shazier played, the way Lawrence Timmons played, the way that defense played as a whole. I don't see anything changing.
Maurice Jones-Drew, at Jones_Drew32 on Twitter. You could see Maurice throughout the week on the same app on which you can see this show live every single day. NFL Now, available at NFL.com/now and through the NFL mobile app. We're back in 60 ticks of the clock. We'll take some phone calls. Would you mind taking phone calls from the show listeners and viewers, sir?
I would love to.
Let's do that. Hook you up with Maurice Jones-Drew and figure out the rest of these 3 games. You've got the Steelers advancing to either New England or Kansas City. The first game coming up.
This could be a domino, the first domino to fall, but I don't think Shad Khan would be going to St. Louis, even though you would think from his background the breadcrumbs would lead there. I think his eye's on London. So if a team moves to London, I think that team's going to be Jacksonville.
Sam Farmer of the LA Times yesterday when we were talking about all the moving pieces on the NFL relocation chessboard with LA now having the Rams here, the Chargers. Kevin Acee down there in San Diego reporting that Dean Spanos and the mayor of San Diego have spoken. So there is some communication between the team and city management. We'll see what happens with the Chargers, the Raiders, who the heck knows. And Maurice Jones-Drew, I asked him about Jacksonville, if Jacksonville could be in play, and he said not to go to St. Louis because that's Shad Khan is from that area,
right.
Has a serious ties to that community. He said London. Would that surprise you?
It wouldn't, because he spent so much money rebuilding the facility in Jacksonville. I mean, they put those big screens in the Everbank Field. I want to say he spent over $300 million just building back up the stadium and putting the pieces to play. From what I hear right now, that they're redoing a bunch of the suites, and so that's more money tied in. So why would you spend money if you want to relocate? And the other thing is the flight plans. It's not beneficial to winning. And at the end of the day, we know winning generates the most money. Period. You know, you can have all the lights and the whistles and things like that, but if you're not winning on the field, people aren't going to come. So I think if you fly to London and you play in London, it's going to be a disadvantage to your team just because you have to fly here, play 4 games here, and it's just too much going on. That flight's tough. Have you ever been?
To London? I have been to London, yes, sir. I have been there.
That flight back is tough, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you know, certainly I have not experienced the London flight like half the league has, which is with their coach fired or their owner pissed because they just got waxed in front of the entire United Kingdom.
Right.
It's unbelievable what's been happening in those London series, man.
I was there for one.
Yeah?
Oakland.
For the Oakland one where who Dennis Allen got it?
Yeah. It wasn't the best.
Did you know Dennis Allen was getting fired on the flight home? You sensed it, though? Did you know it?
No, not really. I mean, even when I went to Oakland, I didn't know that he was in that type of turmoil, like that he was going to get fired if we didn't start what. I mean, when you bring so many guys in, I want to say we brought in 7 or 8 different free agents that they had to play key pivotal roles in a new defense, new offense, learn all these things. I mean, we started a rookie quarterback. I mean, did you expect us to go 13-0 or 13-3 at the time?
Oh, I did.
You did?
You know why? Because I think the best of you, Maurice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I expect you to raise people's games just like you do on NFL Now and just like you're doing on this show right now. And I mean every word that I'm saying.
Well, I appreciate. Well, guess what? I was hurt, so I didn't play in any of those games, so I didn't.
That's why.
Well,
That's
there
why.
you go.
See? So Dirk Cutter is now the OC of the OC is now the HC in Tampa. You were in Jacksonville when he was the offensive coordinator?
Yes.
Okay, for Malarkey, right?
No, for Jack Del Rio.
I see. I can't even keep track anymore.
There's a lot of coaches.
So what do you make of Cutter and the move that Tampa Bay has made to make him the HC there?
Well, early on it was tough because when you fire your head coach, Lovie Smith, for your OC, it makes it a difficult situation. You saw the reaction of the players and things like that. But that had nothing to do with Dirk. After obviously seeing the way Dirk handled Matt Ryan and what he did for Matt Ryan in Atlanta and that offense, and then obviously you see what they're doing now with how they couldn't move the ball and things after a certain number of weeks, and then to see what he did in Jacksonville with Blaine Gabbert, myself, I think I had my best years there when he was there, where we were throwing the ball in the backfield, finding matchups, things like that. And then what he's done for Jameis. I mean, you see Jameis just looks magnificent as a rookie. I want to say he was 19 touchdowns, 1 pick in the red zone. Dirk is a great offensive mind. If he keeps calling the plays, I think that'll be perfect for him. You know, you don't ever want to take away, like promote him to incompetency, which is make him the head coach and take the play calling away. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
So hopefully if he continues to call the plays, he can work with Jameis and keep that, like you talked about earlier in the show, the consistency and all those things where Jameis can go out there and continue to excel. Because Jameis should be in the top 8 quarterbacks in the next couple of years, if not one of the top 3.
No kidding. You think he's going to join that elite status if Cutter and he continue working together as the Tampa made sure that they would?
No, definitely. I mean, you have Mike Evans. They find a way to get their playmakers the ball.
Well,
If you
they
notice
definitely
that?
have. Yeah, they definitely have. And Doug Martin had a spectacular year. It's just shocking to me why they couldn't continue on with him just as the offensive coordinator, and they just told Lovey to hit the road. That was the head scratcher.
Well, the best part about working at the network, NFL Network, is that you get to hear all the little rumblings. And he was a hot candidate for Miami. He was a hot candidate for San Francisco. I want to say Cutter was, yeah.
Yes.
So they didn't want to lose him to that because as much as you could try to up the price, but we know it's all about the tag and how people see you.
And continuity at the quarterback position. I mean, the Giants just kept it for Eli.
Which is crazy.
Why is that crazy?
Well, why? Like, it's the same staff there, so it's like, why would you fire the head coach and then keep the whole staff? Like, that makes no sense. Like, it wasn't like Ben McAdoo was going to get a head coaching job anywhere else.
Well, it's not that. It's just Eli Manning, 35, right?
Right.
And the last 2 years, we were talking about, well, the system of McAdoo, and last year was one thing. Now this year he is finally beginning to get it. Why would you go ahead and have him learn new tricks just like his brother at age 39,
Right.
which clearly wasn't working out in the first part of the season? And if they lose on Sunday like you think they are, it's going to be the same conversation again.
Well, I just feel like, why fire Tom Coughlin then? Because
That's a viable. Well, I mean, just maybe a new voice. Seriously, after 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, I can see
What's
that.
the longest you ever had as a coach? Who's the longest one? Was it
Jack
Del
Rio, yeah.
At the end of your time there, was it like you've heard the same voice and you've seen the same thing and you need a change?
Well, no, we went different GMs like halfway through my time with Jack.
Sure.
And that they didn't see eye to eye. That didn't work. Then we brought in another coach and a new owner. So then all that got wiped away. Then I came in with Gus Bradley and Dave Caldwell. So it was like 8 voices in a matter of like 3 years.
Continuity. It
gotta have
means
it.
so much when it
Yeah.
all comes down to it, right?
It does. It does. Just to me, when I look at the Giants, it's like, if I'm going to fire Coughlin, I might keep a guy here or there maybe. But to keep the whole staff, I mean, so you're just using Coughlin as the scapegoat. Like, oh, well, the season's bad, so we have to get rid of someone. And then they said he resigned. Like that.
Well, Bruce Arians was retired. Remember that?
Yeah,
These things have happened before, right? Jeremy in Mississippi, you are on the Rich Eisen Show with Maurice Jones-Drew. Jeremy, you're first up today.
What's going on, guys? What's up, Rich? What's up, Maurice? How you doing, man?
Doing well. How are you? I like this.
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on, Coconuts?
What's up, Jeremy?
Look, really what I want to know is, I know you guys probably don't see it, and I really don't see it myself, but what does Kansas City have to do this weekend to get a win? And then I got a little subpar question after that, but go ahead.
Go. What do you think the Chiefs have to do to get the win?
They just
I have 2 cents.
Don't turn the ball over. Simple as that.
That's simple.
That's simple.
I don't know.
That's number one, yeah.
Well, you could do the turnover battle. You're right. You can't make any mistakes of any sort. You can't when it's again New England in this situation. You can't even go third and short and not make it. You can't.
Exactly, because
holding penalties.
You're coming off of the win of Super Bowl 49, and Brady, he's looking at it like, this is it or bust. I got to get the 5th one. I got to get above everyone else on that list.
Why are you looking at me like that, Maurice Jones-Drew? Jeremy, he's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Well, I just think Kansas City's defense gives them a chance to have a little bit of error. When I say don't turn the ball over, I'm saying you can't give Brady a short field. Make him drive on that defense of yours. Because that defense, and we know that offensive line for the Patriots is banged up and they got pieces all over the place. That defensive line for Kansas City is unbelievable.
Well, and that's why I think if I'm Kansas City with Gronk, I don't know if they're running an okey doke here. I don't think they are, right? You're hearing that he has a back and a knee. He had a back issue added to the injury report.
Wow.
I got the most confidence in him, honestly.
Well, here's
I think he's going to come out there and ball.
Maybe so, but I want to see it. The guy I want to double, Jeremy, thank you for the call. A guy I want to double is Julian Edelman.
Yes.
Because the protection problems that Brady's been having can magically disappear if he can get that ball out to Julian Edelman in a way that he has not been able to since he's been out for the last month and a half. So I take him out of the game, see what Gronk can do. And if Gronk starts beating me, then I'll make a change. That's what I would do if I'm Kansas City.
When have you started coaching football, Rich?
Well, you know what, Maurice Jones-Drew, I only know one speed.
Right.
You know, I listen to my analysts on game day morning. I'm one of those hosts that listens, takes in, and then ignores everything Michael Irvin says.
I was about to say, I know you're not listening to the playmaker. I love it. No, I think you're exactly right, though, Rich. The only way you can beat Tom Brady is by getting to him and frustrating him. You saw the Dolphins did that. But you have to take away his number one option, which is Julian Edelman. So if you allow this guy to get the ball out in those 2-yard routes and let him break a couple tackles and things like that, you don't have a chance. But my secret weapon for Kansas City is Eric Berry. They're going to lock him up one-on-one with Gronkowski, and then they'll take care of the rest.
So do that. Double Edelman. Try and get to Brady. Get your pressure. Don't make mistakes on offense. Don't turn it over. If you've got third and shorts, convert them. Move them down the field. If you make a big play, don't hold.
Do Maclin and Houston have to play for the Chiefs to have a chance?
I don't think Houston, because they have D Ford and Tom Bali, and they have a bunch of other guys they could pop in. I think Zombo is there as well, but Frank Zombo. But Maclin, they slapped them last year, and I use the word slap because it was 41-14. It was a disgrace.
Well, everyone was saying it was the end of the Patriots, as we know.
It was the end of Tom Brady, right?
End of everything.
And so I think when you have a team that's done that, they're not afraid of that whole idea of it's the Patriots in January in Foxborough.
Right.
Like, they don't care. Like we slapped you guys the last time, we'll do it again.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.